huh? You don't even realize what's about to happen to you.
Who are you? Who are you?
Don't you worry. That pretty little face of yours. Who I am. My identity is a secret.
But if that was the case, why aren't you covering your face?
Smart, actually.
How many times have I told you that when we do these interrogations, we need to cover our faces, okay? Tell Marco to add those balaclavas to the Amazon wish list.
Thank you. But also, you're still in trouble.
And how?
You might ask.
How am I in trouble? How am I in trouble? How am I in trouble?
I'll tell you, mate. Okay, don't worry where I was looking. Stop rolling your eyes, you little sack of undescribable excrement. To release you, we need $20 million.
20 mil? No, please. You've got to let me go. Who's going to take care of the penguins and the dolphins if I'm here?
Listen, mate, the dolphins are going to have to figure it out themselves, okay?
Yes, just order them now, man. Don't show me the screen. I'm busy. Oh, this is pointless.
This woman wants to know the truth about her internet boyfriend.
Hold on a second there. Let's get a clearer image here of this guy's freaking jawline. It's popping out of the muscle, mate. I don't even know if there's a muscle here, but there must be, surely. What a stupid question. It's popping out. What? Oh, goodness. Chris Hemsworth, is it? Thor?
Friend.
He's a well-known celebrity
She's British.
TV presenter in Australia.
Oh, he is
Him
Chris
looking,
Hemsworth.
well-maintained guy, very muscular. He says, have you a date? And I said, no, I just live at my home with my mum, my dad and my 2 cats. He asked me to marry him. You know, it really took a lot of persuasion to do it. When I decided, right, I'll say yes.
Chris was wealthy, successful, and handsome. He even shared Lisa's love for animals. There was just one problem.
Goat.
He was sick in Africa. He had really bad insect bites. It was said that he got kidnapped and they asked for $20 million. His management wanted it in the form of crypto. We didn't have that kind of money. We're not celebrities. We're not millionaires. You're a celebrity like you say you are. You should be loaded with money.
Big facts. I love the fact that they've slapped subtitles on her just because her northern accent might be difficult for people outside of the British. I can understand her, but there you go. Anyway, I just think it's refreshing that from the intro, I haven't lost my mind as of yet. But it's refreshing also that she's asking questions. Where are your peas, bro? Huh? Where are your peas? Where are your squares? Huh? Chris Hemsworth? Get it? Don't you dare look at me like that. You hold on to that vine, all right? Hold on to it like the app was being discontinued. But you hold on to that vine, Mr. Tarzan. You try and swing for the fences. You ain't getting the 20 mil crypto out of me. Composure, let's regain our breath. Swallow that saliva build up. I've lost the plot here. The video is not making me lose my mind. It's myself. I'm just hyped up on sugars, baby. I also think it's refreshing. There was nothing else there.
Are you high or just incredibly stupid?
I've just remembered. Let's not gloss over the fact, though, that she is ready to marry him with no meetups, right? And of course I didn't forget that the Donnie was kidnapped. 20 mil ransom. Is he that important? I don't know. But he must be, if he's taking care of the goats and the dolphins and stuff.
Join us for another catfish adventure sponsored by socialcatfish.com.
This is given
If
Jason
it was
Bourne.
the real Dr. Chris Brown,
Chris
the
Brown.
feeling would be absolutely amazing. Just magical. Magical.
Like, what type of cruel person targets somebody with autism.
We have to help her. Stick around
Is that
until
a
the end.
rhetorical question?
We'll find out if Chris is really top dog or just another internet scammer begging for a treat.
Oh my, the dog puns. Ooh, ruff, ruff. I love it. My tongue's all out and everything. I just feel like that was a rhetorical question. Where you think scammers have developed some kind of moral code here? Like, oh, she has autism, we're drawing the line in the sand. Let's not ask ridiculous questions here. They don't give a shit about anyone, okay? What is this? Hella dramatic.
Well, we got another case. This is from a woman named...
Hold on. We didn't even get a like and subscribe, guys. I can't even say go do that, but you already are. Just because you're getting a bit fancy doesn't mean you can throw away the, the good old days.
Lisa. I'll read her email. She says, "Hi, Catfish team. I spent the last 2 years talking to Chris Brown after he messaged me on Instagram. Over the time, I sent him over 9,000 pounds for a meet and greet, crypto payments, and travel documents. His management recently emailed me saying he was kidnapped and demanded 20 million Great British pounds to free him, which I do not have."
Not the police, though. Nah, the management team concerned for his life will contact this random lady who supposedly has some sort of quote-unquote relationship with Chris Brown. Still, by the way, I find that obviously it's not weird that his name is Chris Brown. It's just, the obvious other Chris Brown. But anyway, crypto, the kidnappers want. So God, I'm getting choked up over crypto if anyone wants to send me bitcoins to help clear my throat. They want crypto. Management team is not seeking authorities. A celebrity being kidnapped has not made the news. Let's be honest here. TMZ, if they even got a whiff of him being kidnapped, it would be all over the place. They would know he's been kidnapped before he's been kidnapped. I don't know the logistics behind that, but they do. So right now, my booty's in my chest. I'm not having a good time.
Please help me verify if this is the real Chris Brown,
It's not.
as this situation is causing a financial hardship for me. Sincerely, Lisa.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm
Hello.
44 years old and I live in the United Kingdom.
Woohoo.
My hobbies are taekwondo,
Oh.
I go swimming, arts and crafts, spend time with my the cats and just like general things around the house.
Lisa's childhood was a traumatic one.
Hold on a second. House. I love it. I love it. It's very rare that we get someone from across the pond on this show. It's like, I'm connected right now. Anyway.
Suffered many serious illnesses as well as struggling socially.
The family knew something was wrong right from when I was a child, really. We're talking about 8, 9 years old. I was in and out of hospital due to various illnesses during childhood. And then I was diagnosed with autism.
Lisa's symptoms of autism would continue to make social situations awkward for her, making it difficult for her to make friends and find a date.
When I was 18,
Sorry for that noise, but my mum is calling me.
Didn't ask.
Situations awkward for her, making it difficult for her to make friends and find a date.
When I was 18, I was very naive. I didn't have boyfriends before that age. I wasn't really interested in boys.
That's perfectly
I didn't
fine.
have the confidence to interact with them. I saw myself as the ugly duckling, really, because I never really used to mix with anyone. Didn't have the confidence to mix with anyone. Went on a few dates, but nothing more than that, really. It wasn't until my late 30s that I found someone when I was at university who was very caring, very nurturing, very outgoing and bubbling. His name was Martin and he was 37.
Sorry?
September of that year, he died in a road traffic collision with a drunk driver and died at the scene.
After the tragic loss of her boyfriend Martin, it would take years for Lisa to recover from her heartbreak.
Hold on, rest in peace. But when she says she met him at university, how old was she? Because he's 37. I'm not too sure what's going on here. So let me know in the comments, please.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Editing H here. You would think with ears the size... Can you see that? I'm Dumbo reincarnated. I'm a live action Dumbo. Okay, I apparently just didn't hear that she literally specified in her late 30s while she was at uni. So, slap myself. I apologize.
Even the thought of dating would bring up strong and painful memories for losing Martin.
I was hurting, didn't want to look at another guy, wasn't interested in anyone else. I just had to try and get through day by day.
This is when Lisa decided to go back to school and earn her master's in teaching so that she could help special needs students who had struggled as she had.
Then I became a teacher. The subject that I teach is drama and performing arts. So I've taught autistics and I've taught people with ADHD, I've taught refugees, I've taught asylum seekers, and those out of marginalised groups.
After a few years of concentrating on teaching, Lisa decided it was time to try and date again, this time looking for love online.
I was new to the social media, new to Instagram, picked it up because I had a notification, and this one person was on there, and it normally has a little tick on the profile to say that it's legit, so it had one of those, and he wanted to connect with me. And so I'm thinking, oh, what's going on here? So
Hold on. Because I think on Instagram, you can pay yourself for a tick on there, so I wouldn't really class that as an account being verified. You still gotta be wary of a lot of red flags, and my mum is calling me again, so I'm a bit confused on that.
A few moments later.
So going back to the Instagram thing, yeah, everyone be aware that you can, or other people can, pay for the verified mark on their accounts. Not sure why you would want to do that. I guess give yourself some kind of importance. But if you're a business owner of some kind, in that regard, it makes sense. But, you know, if you're just a regular, schmegular civilian, and literally you go on there to post, I don't know, your cats, for example, or other non-business related things, what are you doing? I guess.
what's going on here? So
Correct.
maybe me being naive, I clicked on it, and then we started exchanging messages, like small talk ones, like hello, where you from? You're in the UK? So I says, yeah, I'm in the UK. He says, have you a date? And I said, no, I just live at my home with my mum, my dad, and my 2 cats.
What are the cats' names?
His name was Dr. Chris Brown.
There you go.
He's located in Sydney. He's a well-known celebrity vet.
Just to go back, shout out the dogs. Oof. That was not a bark. I don't even know what that was. Obviously, that shitting bio is not his bio, because then surely you would realize it's a scammer. But if it did genuinely have 1,000 followers and the verified mark, not saying there isn't anyone out there with 1,000 followers who might be some kind of influential figure, but this has been bought, most likely.
He's a well-known celebrity vet and TV presenter in Australia.
Aussie,
It's a TV show about animals and vets rescuing animals. I'm a big fan of his animals and his work that he does. He also hosts Dancing with the Stars, which is a dance show. I'd say he's about 6'5", very muscular, slim-looking, well-maintained guy. Blonde curly hair, blue eyes, Caucasian.
It's crazy.
After chatting daily for months, Chris began to talk of love and a future with Lisa.
It's popping out.
It was October 2022.
Bloody hell, this has been going on long.
Because I did develop feelings for him. Just the way I was being spoken to, him showing interest in me, sending me compliments, saying how beautiful I look.
Yeah, that's a wrong yaw. By the way, on a recent video, I was corrected in my spelling in the comment section, so shout out to the individual for that. I typed out a long, somewhat meaningful reply about, you know, we shouldn't just chalk things up to, hey, they're family, I'll freaking let you do what, just treat me like shit, but because you're family, I love you. And then they said to me with the little asterisk, THEY''RE, because I misused the wrong, or I misused the wrong there, right? Thanks. Oh. What is life? Baby, don't hurt me. I'm kidnapped. Oh. Oh. Come save me. Man, I have problems or something.
Stop it. Get some help.
He was adamant that he wanted me, seen how I was, generally looking out for me, etc., etc. So, yeah, I think that was
Very
what it
she in
was.
this picture.
He asked me to marry him, and I said, I don't know about that.
Good.
It really took a lot of persuasion to do it. When I
Okay.
decided, right, I'll say yes.
Well.
Although Lisa and Chris had fallen in love, Lisa had still not met Chris in person or even had a video chat with him.
Then I asked to see, have a video call with him.
Correct.
And he said that, there was restrictions and,
Always the
he had rules
management.
to abide by.
This is when Chris would suggest a way to meet in person. The plan was for her to meet him at a local meet and greet he had planned to attend in England.
And we were talking about doing a meet and greet. The meet and greet, it was meant to be him coming over here and staying somewhere and then just spending a few weeks with me, and just doing certain activities, spending a bit of time with me. He said that he was due to come over to England, but he didn't come because he said that his bank was frozen and therefore he couldn't get any money to fly over and that he's going to need some more money.
Lisa decided to let Chris borrow the $2,000 for the plane ticket in England.
No.
But because she couldn't come up with the full amount all at once, she agreed to set up monthly payments with Chris.
No.
We had an arrangement and I had to give so much money per calendar month from that date until it reached $2,000.
Whoa, Lisa, if that is your name, if I've remembered correctly, please, let's not set up Klarna for scammers, okay? Let's just not set up ClearPay for any individual. If you don't have the money, you tell them, I don't have the money, mate, all right? And that goes for everyone. Don't bend over backwards. Don't set yourself on fire to keep people warm. If you're setting up a payment plan, you obviously are not in a position to be doing what you're doing. Just take it from me, right? Back in the day, especially when I was struggling to find work and stuff, I was using the hell out of Klarna for unnecessary things as well, right? And it got to a point where I was slowly becoming addicted. Like, oh, I can get this and not pay full, and then I'll get this as well, and that. Oh, don't worry, 3 months later we'll pay it. And obviously I know this is getting a bit off topic, but please, if you see yourself going down a slippery slope regarding finances, I hope you can find it within yourself to reel the bad boy in, okay? But in her case, and in cases like this, don't do this. Don't set up payment plans for people. Stop. And also, where is he at this point? Is he in the aforementioned Africa? Or is he in Australia right now? Why is his bank account frozen? What did he do? Did he, someone find drugs in his suitcase? I don't know.
Management wanted it in the form of Steam cards, crypto, or Bitcoin as you know it. And in the end, I had to pay £400 per calendar month.
Okay, also, until we reach £2,000. Lisa, stop. I do think it's interesting that in the intro, they edited it in a way that made it seem like the kidnappers wanted crypto. Or was I just being stupid? I think it's possible that might be the case. So we'll continue.
We reached £2,000.
But once Lisa paid the £2,000, Chris's management would say they needed even more money from her.
For what?
2 days before it was due to fly out to the meet and greet, and I got another email saying that they wanted a replacement personnel for the company. We need another $14,000.
What does that mean?
Which they said it would be refunded on Chris's return back to Australia. So I did that just to please them. We put half each. Just over £9,000 in total.
But even after paying over $9,000 to fly Chris to the UK, Chris would once again have to cancel his flight when he became deathly ill while on a television shoot in Africa.
He was sick. In Africa, he had really bad insect bites, which gave him an allergy, collapsed, he was very dehydrated. So travel insurance.
Sorry, but, you know, the dumbness in me. There's only one L in that allergic reaction. So you didn't take 2 L's, just the 1 L. Can it really be that bad of a reaction?
This is great banter.
Editing H here, just chiming in to also say, it didn't even say reaction. It said reation. I don't know what that is. You trying to have some relations with the allergies? I'm dancing right now, you can't really see, but look. I pulled a hammy. No, actually, it hurts. So, anyone wants to send me Steam gift cards? The spelling is off the charts with the scammer in this story.
So travel insurance should cover that if you took it
Correct.
out. He said no. He needed some money
he's an
because he
idiot.
was in hospital. He wanted $20,000. And so I gave
We're in
him
the
money
UK.
via Steam
No.
card, £1,600.
Lisa.
After sending over $11,000 to Chris and him making excuse after excuse, Lisa received a suspicious email from Chris's management.
2024 came.
How long
His
is this going
management
on?
company emailed me. The English was broken in the emails. It was said that he got kidnapped.
Who's sending this email? Is it the management? It must be. I am writing in that way. Lefting anyone? How about that? I am writing to ask for you help. It is emergency. Dr. Chris has been kidnapped from Africa. The kidnappers are now asking for $20 million. If we can't come up with this amount, they will kill Chris. Please help. Best regards. Tim Bacharach. So they just won't kill him. They'll kill him. They'll kill him in this world. They'll kill him in the afterlife. They'll kill him in the spiritual realm. Who knows? Honestly, you know, I'm asking this question. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know where any family member is at this point. Because whilst I don't want to, what's the word? Infantilize her, right? Because as someone who has an uncle with a disability, and it's obviously a very different scenario, but he doesn't like to be babied because of his past stroke, right? So, obviously I can't speak for Lisa here, and I guess she has to be the one to say if she is on board with it or not. But I just don't think it's a nice feeling to be infantilized, people babying you for the sake of it. But where are her family members in this instance? Anyone that perhaps is checking up on her? Because it's been 2 years since she mentioned 2022. So she's been sending money for like 2 years at the very minimum. Anyone checking up on her? I don't know if she's telling people of anything, but I'd just love to know. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments, please.
Editing H once again. I mention it a lot later in the tantalizing talk section towards the end, but I just feel like it's important to slap it here as well. When I say, where are her parents? Or, you know, did she speak to them about any of this? I completely recognize that she is an adult woman, okay? We'll look at some of the comments that sort of infantilize her towards the end, of course. But when I mention where are they, I mean in terms of, did she let them know that this was happening? Like, because she lives with them, do they know that she's sending this much money, etc., to this person? Not if anyone is somehow, you know, thinking that I'm saying, oh, slap a conservatorship on her now. Definitely not. I mention later on, but I feel like it's important to mention it right now.
but she is a very independent woman. Like, she has a job, she's got her master's, she teaches vulnerable children. So this isn't a case of, slap her conservatorship. She's shown no semblance of financial responsibility. Well, yes, she kind of hasn't, because she has sent money, but it's not a typical case of what we're seeing we can sort of consider a conservatorship, such as other past victims, if that makes sense. So, just in case, I wanted to clarify from here on, at this point, not saying she needs a conservatorship. Back to the video.
And they asked for $20 million.
Yeah, who's got that,
we
mate?
didn't have that kind of money. We're not celebrities. We're not millionaires.
Facts.
If you're a celebrity like you say you are, you should be loaded with money.
Facts.
I had my suspicions on this. It didn't make sense. A celebrity being kidnapped, it would be on the news. And
Correct.
it would be well known that they've been kidnapped. I want closure. I want to find out who this person that I'm talking to now. I want to find out if they are real people. I still have doubt. If it was the real Dr. Chris Brown, the feeling would be absolutely amazing.
Well.
I mean, to stay in touch would be just magical. Magical. And even to meet him up front, that would be unforgettable.
Well, you should forget about this, in all honesty. And in all stories like this, the real person, should they be real, you wouldn't want to start any sort of relationship with them, because even in this case, he doesn't seem like a great guy, right? He takes care of the animals. I respect that. But then he's willing to put financial burden on you for things that he should be covering. Meet and greet. Why are you paying for the ticket for the plane, right? Maybe I can sort of understand medical bills because, quote unquote, this is your lover. You don't want your lover to die, of course. But in most cases, on this show in particular, the lover, again in quotations, usually are sacks of shit, even if they are portrayed by the victim as a nice person. Their messages are either abusive, they're very demanding of money, they gaslight you at every opportunity. They're not good people. So, no, Lisa, you wouldn't want this. Okay?
All right, Seekers, we had to get to the bottom of this. Later that week, David, Bree, and I got together to look over the evidence on this profile claiming to go by Dr. Chris Brown.
This guy's kidnapped and needs $20 million.
20 million Great British pounds. How much is that, David?
Well, it was dollars,
41
actually.
million Australian dollars, like when you look at the currency exchange.
Got you. The one thing that's not very evident to me is if she believes all of this or not. Like, watching her interview back, I don't know what she believes and what she doesn't believe.
And I think we need to tread a little bit more carefully than we normally do with this case because she does have a form of autism. But I think we need to figure out how to help her out long term.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, so what information do we have, Brian?
We have emails from his management team, supposedly. So we can look at the email address, maybe even send this guy an IP tracker through his email. And then
bloody hell, I haven't seen the IP tracking thing, I swear, in a good few weeks. Thankfully, it still exists because I feel like they haven't used it in a while, and I guess this is the most believable thing that the victims get their eyes on. Hey, he's in this country. How's he there? I feel like it's been so long.
So she did send money through crypto.
What type of cruel person targets somebody with autism and just tries to
question.
drain their bank account?
The saddest part of her story is that she just went through a relationship where her significant other passed away from a drunk driver. She gets really shy around meeting people or meeting new people or, having boyfriends until she finally gets into this relationship and the guy passes away from a drunk driver.
I think I've misunderstood this story then, in terms of her relationship. I think she was talking about university and that was separate. to the relationship with Martin, since Drew said recently he's passed away. Rest in peace. I think that clarified my question from earlier on. So, yeah, I can understand the grief, especially if it's very fresh, because, look, you never really get over the loss of someone. You just learn how to handle the emotions of it all and how to sort of not sweep them entirely under the rug, but wear it as a backpack. That's how I like to describe it. You wear grief as a backpack. It's with you. You know, you carry it through day to day, but, you know, don't, I would hope not anyway, that it doesn't, you know, crunch you down and you sit and let life pass you by. You lose someone, and life still goes on. You know, time doesn't wait for anyone. So I can understand. It's very fresh, and she's sort of potentially, I guess, jumping in to this one because he's saying all the right things and she misses that feeling. I completely understand it.
She was grieving. And
But
then
don't
now
send
she's
money.
vulnerable, and then she meets this guy.
Don't send
online.
money.
Yes. So we have to help her.
All right, let's
Of
get going.
course.
All right, let's do
Yeah.
it.
It's very rare that they actually help someone who I think deserves to be helped. Yeah. There's a lot of shitheads this year that they've helped, and they've, either the victims have been shitheads and don't even care about all the bigotry that they're spewing. They don't care if you get help or not. Or they are very narcissistic. They berate their husband, for example. Ha, who's that, everyone? And they don't even give a shit about the work that's been put in. They're just not going to listen anyway. I'm still going to get scammed. I don't give a shit if you get help or not. This occasion, thankfully, we're helping someone who does deserve to get help.
Let's do it.
Because she seems
Later
like a
that
nice
week,
person.
Brienne gave Lisa a follow-up call to gather more evidence on Lisa's crypto transactions.
What a jacket.
Hey, Lisa, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good to hear. I just wanted to spend some time running through all this information that you just sent over to us. It looks like you sent over crypto information.
Yeah.
When did you send these funds?
It was started around February last year and it ended just in December, January time. He claims to be his management, his team. It all just didn't add up, yeah.
I feel like she understands, but it's unfortunate that she still sent money. So I wish she didn't, because she does seem to recognize the red flags, sort of. But once again, I ask the question, where are the parents in this situation? Surely they would notice she's perhaps dipping her toes into the Bitcoin pools. You know, there are other cryptocurrencies available, of course. Sponsor me. No, don't, okay? Don't sponsor me. Unless, oh, maybe though. Anyway, on a serious note, well, I feel like someone should have stepped in. Maybe the signs of her doing this kind of stuff weren't visible. Maybe she hid it well, I guess. I'm a bit confused in that regard.
Okay.
I'm thinking, well, why has he got two different numbers?
Correct.
And why isn't it not an Australian number?
Correct.
If he's Australian, he's got a mobile phone. You know, things just generally didn't add up. And I thought to myself, well, why got his phone number after 2 years? Why isn't this management researchable? Why haven't they got a proper website? Why haven't they got a business email?
We might as well not even come to the catfish team. Like, I understand she wants 100% solidified proof, but she's asked more questions than some victims who have been getting scammed for frickin' decade, maybe. Fair play. Kudos. Some logic. Yes. It took us shitting almost 5 months of the year to get some sort of an educated person.
Yes, he's already asked me for a Steam voucher, and he did me a video call,
If you can send me his phone number,
Except she
maybe
still
his
sent money,
profile
though.
picture.
That's-
Does he have a Yeah, and screenshots
That's
would
sad.
probably be the easiest way to send that over.
Yeah, well, I'll send those to you now, Brianne. That will be fine.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. That sounds great. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna create an IP tracker link, and we can send that off to Chris to see where he's located.
Okay, that'd be good.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. So let's work on that, and then you send me over the new information, okay?
Yeah, okay then. I'll send you over the ID.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Pleasure.
Okay, bye.
You soon.
Now that we had gathered all of the evidence, it was time to sit down with Lisa and give her the truth about this profile claiming to be Dr. Chris Brown.
Dr. Chris.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Nice to meet you.
They changed the wall. Am I being hypnotized here? This looks trippy AF. Oh my god. It's like they're swinging that little pendulum. You will be scammed. You will send me gold bars. You will realize and accept that I've been kidnapped, so I need $20 million, but I'll gladly take it in shitting Steam gift cards because the kidnappers want to jump on their freaking gaming PC and play a bit of Battlefield. Of all the games, Battlefield. That is a real game. Or I was going to say Black Ops, but then I said Battle and it was too late to change the word, so what sounds somewhat like a game? Battlefield. I think it's real. I think it's made by EA. The less I say about EA, the better.
Nice to finally meet you.
How are you feeling? Like, are you feeling anxious about today?
I'm expecting the worst. I don't think anything good's going to come from it.
Why are you expecting the worst?
You know, I've seen so many things like this happen, but you never ever think it's going to happen to yourself, do you? I don't know. I just follow my gut. It's just something in me now that I couldn't see before that makes me feel that something's not right.
Lisa, at this time, about how many profiles would you say you've spoken to where they've claimed they're the real Dr. Chris Brown?
Reflecting back now, I only think there's the one, which is the one I'm talking to, but then again, I can't be 100% sure.
So you feel like all the different phone numbers you've talked to are all the same person?
I reckon someone's scamming someone along the way, or someone's impersonating Dr. Chris Brown, in which case he and I can both be victims. He can be victims of identity fraud, and I could be victims of scamming.
Currently, you are talking to the real Chris Brown.
What?
Yeah.
I think the best thing we could do is just walk her through everything that we found.
What
You
did she
sent
say?
over a bunch of emails, phone numbers. I mean, what's going on here? Why did he switch his emails? Why does he always have a different phone number?
I couldn't answer that myself. I don't know.
We looked into all the email addresses, the emails that you gave us. We started looking them up, and we started seeing that every single email that you gave us, Lisa, had just been created. And so that's usually like a big red flag because, you know, most people, when you're talking to them, if they're emailing you, they are easily able to go grab an email that they have, use that to communicate with you. That was one of the red flags. The other red flag is that all of them were brand new emails that were just created recently.
I also think it's a massive red flag that anyone on a romantic level is communicating with you through email. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're one of those couples, for example, that speak on WhatsApp, iMessage, then you go over to DM each other on TikTok and, you know, as a joke, I'll email you as well. If you're one of those couples, I get that. But solely and strictly through emails, that's a no-go. Know your self-worth, baby. Know your self-worth, queen and kings. What am I doing?
Within the last year, none of them had been attached to any social media or any profiles online. When you are using social media, especially somebody like him that has a big social media presence, there are going to be some footprints that are attached to your information, whether it be a phone number or whether it be an email.
Yeah.
None of the emails that you gave us were attached to anything at all. Whoever you're talking to went and created a brand new email, didn't connect it to any social media whatsoever and just started communicating with you. Why do you think somebody would do that?
Either they're inexperienced at using the social media, which is in some cases, or they just don't want to be their identity to be found.
Exactly. But if you look at his social media, he has 812,000 followers. Like, the guy knows how to use social media, I promise you. For nothing to be connected to any of his social media profiles, that's a big red flag.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So he shared an address with you. It's an address located in Sydney, near the beach. I wanted to ask you, why did he send you his address?
And from what I read, that was the only address that matched up in the suburb where he was living of Sydney. I asked him, is this correct or is this not correct? Because if it isn't correct, then it's definitely not the proper Chris Brown I'm talking to.
Right, he's obviously gonna lie.
So from the current research that I found in terms of where he's located or where he's currently residing, it did state that he's living in Bondi.
Yeah, it's well the
Bondi?
celebrities in that there.
And so this property, this address is not located in that area.
Bondi? Bondi? That sounds like some sort of Timo bondage gear, man. And I said Timo, I think. So we've got a Timo, shut the hell up. How about that?
Bravo.
What is Bondi? It's Bondi, surely. Like, I'm not Australian, so all my Aussies, you're gonna obviously comment oi, 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 out of respect, and let me know, because surely it's Bondi. Bondi sounds like some sort of BDSM gear. Calm down, Bree. Oh, gosh.
No, it's located in a little village just outside.
Yeah, it's close, but it's not where he lives. Why would you get an address of somebody else's house?
In general, anyway.
We created an IP tracker because we wanted to get Chris to click on the link. And so as of today, he still hasn't clicked on the link.
I don't think he will.
And you mentioned he was very suspicious?
Yeah, that's the vibe I get.
If you're really talking to Dr. Chris Brown, like, why would he have any reason to be suspicious?
Good question. I don't know. Apart from he's said to me, he's aware of loads of trolls and impersonators that impersonate him, so he's watching where he clicks or watching what he goes to, etc., etc.
Well, let's talk about the kidnapping.
Smart, Chris.
Like, when you first got that kidnapping email, what was going through your mind?
Frustration. I was getting ready to walk away because in my gut, I knew this would happen.
You knew he'd get kidnapped.
Ready to walk away. But literally time after time after time, he was begging me not to.
Did you think it was strange that he was telling you he was kidnapped and his mom is reaching out to you and asking you for financial support because Chris is kidnapped? But if you Google Dr. Chris Brown being kidnapped or abducted, you can't find anything.
With celebrities normally, it would be in the media, it would be in the papers. Yeah. There would be a search party around the whole of the country.
During that time that the person you were talking to was claiming that they were kidnapped, we looked at Chris Brown's Instagram account, and I don't know if you want to see what he was up to during that time.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so he was in Africa during that time. He was so-called kidnapped.
Bro,
and if you're kidnapped, you wouldn't be...
Sorry, why is the giraffe, like, on the floor or something? If this is some kind of... Okay, they're rescuing giraffes, I assume. Just, giraffe conservation, right? You know, this is... I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but do you know how much it grinds my gears? Trophy hunters? I'm sorry, I don't understand. And I never will. If you have a different opinion, you can leave it in the comments. We'll just have to disagree or agree to disagree, because what are you doing? Leave the animals alone, bro. You know, those pictures of people, you know, they've shot a lion or something and they've stood there posing with it. You get a grip of yourself. I hope unspeakable things happen to you. And if you're kidnapped, you wouldn't be lounging in a lounge chair.
No. Well, Lisa, we also...
It depends how good the kidnappers are treating you. If you're receiving multiple Steam gift cards and you're playing Battlefield with the shitting kidnappers, I too am kicking my feet back, saying...
Looked up the phone numbers, and the other phone numbers showed up in China, Australia, the UK,
Australia, though.
In the US. Why would somebody that's in Australia have all these numbers all over the world?
Businessman.
I could imagine a celebrity either having a business number and a personal number.
Yeah, but like if you're dating somebody, are you gonna give them your business number? Or are you gonna give them your real number?
I give them a personal number because they would be dating the business side of me, they'd be dating the personal side of me.
And I mean, why would you give them numbers from all over the world? Why would you just not give them your local number?
A dodgy person would do that and they've got something to hide. That's the only reason I can think of it have done that.
The best thing about this video is the fact that on Social Catfish, we've heard someone describe a scammer as a dodgy person. Listen, it's the British in me. It's coming out. Dodgy, yeah? That guy's dodgy, bro. Dodgy means shifty, basically. Shout out Lisa, man.
If you were talking to the real Chris Brown, why would he hide his phone number from you?
I'm guessing it's because he doesn't want 500,000 phone calls.
I mean, but if he's dating you,
he's drinking Coke.
Why would he try to hide his phone number from you?
Don't sponsor me, Coke.
Good question. That's why I want. That's what I want to find out in due course.
And when you do these video calls, Lisa, with him, how long do they last?
Like 5 minutes. He was moving like I'm moving now on the video call, but there was no sound. And then all of a sudden it just went and just turned itself off, so it was a blank screen.
Did he engage with you and talk back to you, or was he just talking nonstop in the video?
He engaged with me and talked back to me. I asked him a question and, you know, he answered back.
Was there anything weird about that call, about the video calls that you had?
The first one, I couldn't pick up exactly why I wasn't hearing him when his mic was turned on. His excuse was that he spilled coffee on his phone a couple of days ago and it's got faulty. Well, that's possible, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean...
So if he got coffee on his phone and he couldn't communicate, how was he able to post stories on his phone?
Well, apparently his management do it.
But
his manager controls his social media, apparently.
Sorry, I'm struggling to understand. The microphone's here, no? Or unless I've just been using my phone completely wrong. But it's at the bottom. How do you... You're just drinking coffee weird. Unless you're in the middle of doing some kind of Kama Sutra, Mr. Chris Brown. Or a very elasticated version of yoga whilst drinking coffee and using your phone at the same time. I don't understand how it gets in there. And I've just realized it's probably on the table and he's drinking it and then...
He asked you for a Steam gift card.
That's right, yeah.
Why would the real Chris Brown need a Steam gift card?
Battlefield.
That's what I was asking myself. I mean, he's a celebrity, he's very popular, you know, he gets a decent wage. Obviously, he's a vet as well. That's another plus. I haven't got money like he earns money. In fact, I've got very little. So why is he asking me about getting a Steam card? No, I don't know. Maybe he thinks that it would be like a gift or something. I don't know.
Like, just looking at all this information, you're talking to a romance scammer. This person's hiding all his information, all the emails, all the phone numbers, the social media doesn't corroborate, you know, with the video chats that you've had issues with. It doesn't make sense when somebody would contact you randomly and pretend to be Chris Brown and then ask you for money. Chris Brown is not going to randomly reach out to you. And usually how it happens, Lisa, is you go and you comment on his social media somewhere, and some scammer, they see that and then they start messaging you. And that's exactly how you become a target.
Hold on. I think that message was left earlier on in the video as well. I didn't really pay attention, but if you cannot see it on the screen, I will read it out for you once we get past David's... Love your profile. We should really talk sometime. Check your DMs. I put my phone number there with a shocked emoji. Did Lisa actually type that? Because potentially, very much so, 100% anyway, she needs to be careful with chucking her phone number just willy-nilly in people's DMs. It's one thing putting your phone number on shopping websites, for example. Don't be sending it to people, please.
And some scammer, they see that and then they start messaging you.
Correct.
And that's exactly how you become a target.
That was the thing, that's what I can't get my head around. He just saw me and sent me a message from that account and then moved me over to WhatsApp.
It definitely wasn't from that exact same account.
You messaged on his account. However, there's a ton of people that can view that message, and scammers are lurking. They see that you're an easy target because you're already a fan. It's a typical celebrity romance scam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still messaging this Chris Brown?
I hope she
No,
says
I
no.
messaged him for a few days.
As of right now, we're 100% certain that you are being romance scammed.
Yes.
100%.
Well, I want to thank you for all your hard work. You know, all the producers and all
Shout out
the
the producers.
researchers, and you know, you and Brianne.
There is one.
It's good what you do. It took a lot of guts for me to come out and build on this story, but I knew deep down that you could help me. If there's other victims out there that have been a victim by this scammer, you know, come forward.
Lisa, thank you so much for trusting us.
thank
to
you.
do this.
Bye.
Bye. Later that week, Brianne followed up with some additional details that would help Lisa find
So Lisa,
closure.
thank you for meeting with me
much did I miss
today.
now?
I know we did our best to create another tracker link for Mr. Chris Brown. And I want you to know he did not click on it. He didn't click on the other link. It seems like he's very suspicious about this.
That's what I said.
But you know what though? I do want to share some information. I know when we met last week with David, we touched base on the fact that this is highly likely a scam. And yeah, and I wanted to share some other information with you. So I'm just going to share my screen really fast. I don't know if you've seen this, but this was Chris yesterday for Easter.
No, I didn't see that, no.
Looks like he's back at his house in Australia. He's here with his dog, and he posted a cute little picture of him and his dog.
Right.
Yeah, so I just wanted to show you where Chris was recently. And then also I wanted to share something else with you. His so-called management team reached out to you. But this is the process that you would need to go through if you were looking to meet with the real Dr. Chris Brown. And you do have the option to book with him. And so in order for you to be talking to his real management team, this would be the process in which you would be able to connect with him. With that being said, I'm going to monitor both of the links that we shared to this person that you're talking to, just to see if they do end up clicking on the link. And in case that they do, I will reach out to you and let you know the results of that. But as of now, he has not clicked on the link. He or she has not clicked on the link. But it doesn't matter because we know for sure that this person is not who they say they are. They are not the real Chris Brown.
Correct.
Right, okay, yeah, I'll log that then.
My suggestion is to block this person.
I will.
Okay.
With pleasure. Yeah?
Sounds good.
I'll do that. Thank you so much, Brianne.
Yeah, no
Thank you for your
problem.
time.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for reaching out to us. And
I like Lisa. You know.
I guess you'll be hearing from me soon if he clicks on the link.
She got good vibes from Dr. Chris Brown's official account. Yeah, just a bunch of, you know, stop it, mate. That's summarizing
If you have been
it.
involved in a romance scam, don't forget to report it. It helps get the word out and potentially stops other people from being scammed.
Potentially being the key word, of course. Well, my overall thoughts, in case anyone asked. You didn't, but here we are now. I like Lisa. Very much so the, you know, in quotations, best victim that we've come across in a long time. Very understanding. Obviously, she made the boo-boos of sending the money, but she was asking a lot of questions. She was eager to learn. A lot of victims come on here, they're very dead set on it's a real person. I'm going to wait until you tell me it's a real person, and if you tell me no, then I'm just not going to believe you. So she was open to anything. You could say maybe it's the British cynicism in her. But I like Lisa, man. I do think, as much as I call shit out when shit needs to be called out about the Catfish team, I think that was a good approach by David. And I think they should do that more going forwards. You ask the question to the victim, and hopefully when they're answering these questions, they realize, damn, I've been a fool, right? Or if they don't, and they're proper, again, dead set in their ways, then I guess then you lay out all the evidence. Because I don't really think they told her much, other than he didn't click the link and, you know, here he is in Australia for Easter. But I think they handled that well. So we'll now go over to the tantalizing talk, of course. Look at the original comments from the original video. Let me know your thoughts so far, and I'll be back in 1 second. Tantalizing talk time. Now, before we get into the bulk of the comments, of course, I did see a lot of comments mentioning, you know, where are the family in this instance, and one person mentioned conservatorship, which we'll get into towards the end. I did screenshot it, so we'll take a look at it. But I do think it's very evident, at least to me, and some people in the comments as well, but let me know, of course, your thoughts. To me, it seems like Lisa is independent. I don't think she needs someone to control her finances. She was very understanding of everything. She was very... Is level-headed the right word? Level-headed in terms of accepting, you know, that things were not right. You know, in this particular instance, it was a bit fishy. She was accepting of her mistakes, etc. I don't think, you know, she needs a conservatorship. I think that's hella extreme. Like, this woman has a master's degree. It's nothing to turn your nose at. You don't just get it like freaking snapping your fingers, you know. She's a teacher who teaches vulnerable children as well. So she's independent. And I'm not going to lie and say, oh my God, I didn't say anything of the sort. Because I too mentioned and brought up, like, where were her parents during this? But not in the sense of her parents need to find out what she's doing, throw away her phone, etc., etc. But I would have wanted to know simply, where were her parents during this? Because I feel like they could have also interjected themselves in terms of, hey, we don't really think this is right. You know, tell us about your life, what's going on, anything we should know about, that sort of thing. Because I feel like, regardless of who you are, if your relationship is good with your parents, of course, I feel like you should keep conversation open and honest, because you just never know, right? So I'm not obviously going to be a hypocrite and say I didn't say that, but I said it in a different way. But obviously, you guys will let me know in the comments. We'll now start off the TT section, with first comment being, remember, it's not the scammers that are clever, it's their victims who come up with clever ways to convince themselves it's real. I mean, a lot of victims live in a fantasy world, right? A lot of the time, a celebrity in general is not going to be contacting you, okay? And they spin up this web of lies that they tell themselves because they are so dead set against hearing the truth that they will lie to themselves. But I picked this comment out because I think the reply, it's very interesting, and my stance on victims and babying them, etc. We'll take a look at this comment, shall we? The reply says, don't take the responsibility off of the scammers. They are clever, incredibly manipulative, and take advantage of susceptible people. They are sleditors. Yes, people need to look out for themselves, but the scammers are the ones at fault. Victim blaming is not helpful. I agree with what you're saying here. Never take responsibility off of the scammers, but I think it's a given that they are pieces of shit. I mean, if you're thinking otherwise, you know, I wanna sip on what you're sipping if you think scammers are good people. Do you know what I mean? But to say victim blaming is not helpful, where's, you know, let's draw this. It's not black and white. Sometimes, maybe I can admit, maybe sometimes in certain situations, especially when the victim is really stubborn, like a Sue, right? Like a Jody. Realistically, I don't think fighting fire with fire, so to speak, is going to help them understand that they're being scammed. But on the flip side, those very same individuals, when you baby them, it just doesn't help them either, right? Did Jody learn? No. Did Sue recently learn? No. Good old Helen University, the mascot, the student it was built for. Did Helen learn? No. So, look, it's just not black and white, is it? I think you can pick either side of the fence to sit on, and there's always going to be people who disagree with you. I personally feel as coddling and babying victims just doesn't help. And yes, whilst I have said that also being, you know, fighting fire with fire, so to speak, and calling someone foolish, sometimes that doesn't help either. However, I think it's beneficial for people who have not been scammed to understand how foolish it is. And maybe we can drill it in their minds and like, hey, I don't want to be that foolish person. So there, if that makes sense. Otherwise, potentially you get potential victims watching videos and seeing how people are treated and babied and be like, if I get scammed, it doesn't matter. So-and-so will look after me. Oh, I'm going to go lean on this family member to take care of me because, you know, they're family. They should do it. And that's just not how life works. Okay? You don't get to make mistakes and then have... Is it the audacity? Have the audacity to fall back on someone and you become their whole life now, taking care of your financial mistakes. Does that make sense? I might have rambled on. Now, it depends how you do it, of course. There are some comments I've picked out which, not necessarily quote-unquote victim blaming, but they're very hurtful to Lisa. And recently I've been seeing a lot more comments unnecessarily being hurtful to victims. So let's not get it misconstrued. Just because someone doesn't baby and use language such as, it's okay, my queen, don't worry, that doesn't mean they're victim blaming, okay? Next up, I'm actually kind of glad to have seen this comment because I mentioned earlier on about infantilization, if that's how you pronounce it. And when I saw this particular comment, I kind of felt, I guess, validated. Like, my God, for once, I kind of know what I'm talking about. Evie says, I see everyone focusing on Lisa's autism with regards to her victimization and talking about how sweet and naive she is, but this is an eloquent woman with a master's degree. Let's not infantilize her. Sometimes coddling people is less respectful than holding them accountable. And I think I mentioned similar. There's only so far you can sort of baby someone and infantilize them before it becomes condescending, in my opinion. So I'm glad to see this comment, and it seems 145 people also agree with it. Again, she has a master's degree, she is a teacher, teaching vulnerable students no less. I just don't think she is as less independent as some people think she is in the comments. She's her own woman, you know? So, shout out Evie, and look, shout out Lisa, do you know what I mean? The next comment brings up her accent. As a Brit, I'm laughing that there's subtitles for her northern accent, lol. Now, I guess it's a bit strange that she had these subtitles, just because, look, me personally, I understood everything she's saying, but I'm not naive to the fact that some people probably won't understand her. But I don't think she had that strong of an accent. I mean, if you guys want to deep dive on YouTube, I'm pretty sure you'll find people from perhaps Newcastle or Manchester. I think she was from Leeds, because she went to a Leeds university I saw there. But like the areas I've mentioned, Newcastle, Manchester, their accents can be thick AF. Yeah, thick with 2 C's. That's how you spell proper thick. So, just, you know, then I could understand potentially having subtitles, but I get it. It's just funny, I guess.
Really?
Now, this particular comment is one of the comments I spoke about not too long ago, about just unnecessarily being mean. Why would a 10 like him be with a 1 like you think about it? Maybe your reading skills and typing skills are a 1, because I don't really understand what you're saying there. But the first portion, it's ironic, innit? I'm saying reading and typing skills, and then I butcher speaking. But you get the point. I just don't think you've handled what you're trying to say here correctly, right? I get what you're trying to say, as in a celebrity, realistically, are not going to be with a regular, degular, schmegular civilian. However, that's where I draw the line, because I think you've well and truly gone far past that. Because, look, being a 10 is subjective. I'm pretty sure there's going to be people who look at Dr. Chris Brown here and not find him attractive. And to call her 1, based on whose, opinion here? Yours? Person with no profile picture? Is it yours? If you don't find Lisa attractive, that's one thing. But to call her a 1 is ridiculous. Especially, once again, coming from someone with no shitting profile picture. And it's always the people with no profile picture that want to criticize other people's looks. You need to get a grip of yourself, please. And going alongside that, of course, just as someone is not going to find Dr. Chris Brown, attractive, because I'm sure there are going to be people who don't find him attractive. There are going to be people who think Lisa is attractive. And regardless if you think she's attractive or not, in your own personal opinion, she's not a 1. Like, this grading system in general anyway, it's a bit, derogatory to people in general. Do you get my point? I think I'm getting too angry at this comment, but I guess you guys will let me know if I'm unnecessarily getting heated. But I thought, this Adam individual, like, get the bleeping ready, H. Because Adam here, genuinely, go f*** yourself. How about that? The next comment, I know, is not meaning it in a malicious way, but don't you dare compare Lisa to these 2 names. She is much smarter than both Sue and Jody combined. Just hold on a second there. I did it a little bit ago. Mentioning Sue and Jody in the same breath is enough to make the world collapse in itself. My booty is in my chest. I'm quite literally a shitty Iron Man right now for even uttering those 2 names in the same breath. But I rarely take breaths. So you could actually argue I'm just a ghost sitting here right now. I've perished a long time ago. When I first said it, I perished. But then also, wonder how this video got online. And I know I make this joke all the time, but it genuinely means someone broke in, edited this video, and uploaded it. So I guess thank you, robber. But anyway, she is smarter than them both. But to be honest, realistically, if you are judging Sue's and Jodie's intelligence levels, a rock is going to be smarter, and not Dwayne Johnson. I'm talking about the stones on the floor. But in generalness, being serious, she is very much a lot more understanding and accepting. And of course, look, at the end of the day, she did send money, right? There's no excusing that. However, she did understand that she got it wrong. So she's better than a lot of victims, including Sue and Jodie, of course, but that's just... I hate saying their names. The next comment is another just ridiculous comment, and I don't really know what the people get out of typing things like this. Do you feel better about yourself? Are you projecting your own insecurities? Just piss off, really, you know? Kelly here says, and I know there's a few TT members by the name of Kelly, so this isn't about you, good Kellys. This is the bad Kelly. The girl talks like she has mashed potatoes in her mouth. This one already hard to hear. This one already hard to hear. So, once again, someone crucifying the victim and they themselves can't even shitting type. I think you meant to say this one is already hard to hear, but in itself that probably doesn't even make sense. Piss off. How about that? There's subtitles, yeah? Realistically, if you really struggle to hear what she's saying, shut the hell up and read the subtitles. It's as simple as that. I didn't think like she has mashed potatoes in her mouth. Maybe you got mashed for brains, you insensitive. And once again, H, you gotta bleep that. Now, I just want to say, because I know some people might find it hypocritical of me, that given the type of channel this is, and sort of I judge, you know, the victims and stuff like that, I never attack anything other than their foolish actions. So if you want to call me woke because I don't find it funny that, oh, she's a one, oh, she has mashed potato in her mouth, I'm woke then. We next up have an interesting comment, and I'd love to know everyone's thoughts on this. This is a reminder for everyone to keep an eye on the vulnerable adults in your community. Ask them questions, talk about their life, their friendships, look out for red flags. Now, I understand this in terms of making or you know, making sure that you're able to help someone should they need it. Should they need it. Don't go around to all the vulnerable people in your community and pester them and baby them, coddle them, infantilize them, because, again, I can't speak for them, of course. I can't speak for Lisa. I imagine it doesn't feel good, people treating you as if you're less than them because of who they are, if that makes sense. So, again, in Lisa's case, she's very independent. So, but I understand this is not really a malicious comment. I feel like, and again, let me know in the comments, I feel there's a limit. Okay, don't patronize people, I think is the word. The next comment is in reference to Chris Brown's popping jawline. Guy looks like he chews crowbars with that jaw. You're damn right. Okay, I'm not talking about me. The shit facial hair is covering up the very severe lack of a jawline. But I digress. If you ever break into someone's home, and I don't recommend it, of course, authorities watching this in the cameras, you need this guy to break in. Don't forget about the piece of metal. Get this... It was funnier in my head.
You're fake laughing too, right? Oh, the tears are real.
The next comment is an interesting one, and it has a reply that is not interesting, but I've included them both together because I want to talk about them both. The second one is just disgusting anyway. I've got to say, I think Lisa, or featuring Lisa on one of your videos, is exploitative. Does she really understand what she's consented to? Scammer is disgusting, but I don't think you're doing the right thing either. She desperately needs your help, but she's paying an unfair price for it, in my opinion. Now, this is the type of comment here that is leaning towards infantilizing her. I think she understands where she's come to. She's the one that emailed. When David was asking her all these questions, she was answering them, but she understood as well. Once she said the answer out loud, she understood, like, man, this is strange what's been happening. So, again, this is the babying. Lisa is an independent woman, for the love of God. However, I don't think she pays to be on the show. I think the people who do end up on the YouTube videos don't pay a thing. But I could be wrong. Is it exploitative? I don't think so. As you guys know, of course, if I need to shit on the catfish team, I'll shit on them, okay? Metaphorically, of course. Get a grip of yourself. And if they do something shifty, I call them out. I don't think it's exploitative showcasing a story of someone with autism being scammed, because I think it's very important to showcase the variety of people that get scammed, right? It's a whole host of people that get scammed. So, look, you're going to have your own opinion, of course. Let me know in the comments. I don't think this was exploitative of them. Lisa completely understood what was going on, at least from what I could see. And I don't think victims who come on the show pay to be on the show. But there you go. And I'll now, in the edit, lift up the comment in reply to this. She's autistic, not, and then, the slur, essentially, that it is. Not going to read it out, of course. I'm sorry. What's going on in these comment sections recently? There's all sorts of bigotry going on. There's all sorts of slurs being dropped. I'm going to move past this, because I don't think it's healthy for me to get as angry as I'm about to get by reading such a bullshit comment. The last comment we're going to look at is once again, and I sound like a parrot, but I just need to emphasize just how many comments I found that are infantilizing her too much. This girl's parents really need to get power of attorney, or she will just continue to get scammed. She is very naive and will continue to get taken advantage of. Lord knows what happens after this story, right? I hope she doesn't continue to get scammed. But from what it seems like on screen, she understood everything that happened and realized that it was wrong and where she went wrong. Now again, I mentioned the parents earlier on in the commentary, but more as sort of, I would hope they know what's going on so that they could also offer their 2 cents, not shitting slap a conservatorship on her, She's independent AF. I think it's very evident. But apparently to some people, it's not very evident. But I don't know, man. I think I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I think I've talked for so long. I think it's like 25 minutes right now of recording the TT section, which is one of the longer ones. So, look, she's completely, she doesn't need a conservatorship. Let's get rid of that notion, right? And all in all, I like Lisa. All in all, I definitely don't think she is going to be scammed in the future, but, could be wrong. I hope she doesn't. And I definitely also think that she is one of the better victims, quote unquote, to come on this show in terms of recognizing and taking some accountability. I don't think I heard any excuse from her. If she didn't know an answer, I think she did just say, I don't know, I don't have an answer for you. Fair enough. You don't need to bend over backwards like some of the other victims and say this, that. Kudos. Well done, Lisa. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts overall. If you do want to watch more of these, playlist up there. If you want to watch something else scam related, I'll chuck it down there. Bye. Just remember, Steam gift cards. The new motto is "We'll save you from getting kidnapped." Thanks to Battlefield. Bye.